Hello and welcome to my second attempt here at Laguna Seca for round 21 of the Nations Cup. Now this time you join me for the qualifying. I won't bore you with the outlap or the previous laps where you can see I've gone faster in both the second and third lap, culminating so far in a 1:30.6. Now that time was already faster than the pole position I got. Sorry, it wasn't pole position, I beg your pardon. That was already faster than the time I set in my first attempt, which was only good enough for 13th in that race. So can I improve on that time? And like you guys, I'm sure you realise that I'm showing you my best qualifying lap now, so you've got to assume that I'm going to go faster and see what position I can secure with these drivers in this race. Now each of these last three laps we've been gaining on these drivers in front of me slowly, but what we don't want to be is too close and have them distract me in any particular corner. If they make a mistake or go off. But so far so good. Coming around the final penultimate corner, heading up towards the final corner here, the very tight left-hander, slow left-hander, before putting your foot down. And can we gain a slipstream up here? Will that help us a little bit? We're looking to beat 1:30.6 and we come across the line 1:30.5, another 10th faster. So currently 9th, but then by the time qualifying finished, that time was good enough just for 10th. So better than yesterday, 3 places higher up. So welcome to race day. If you've skipped the qualifying using YouTube chapters, in a moment we'll be looking at the rest of the grid. So here we are about to look at the grid, and in pole position Neo from France, Neo 59139, we'll call him Neo, and behind him Roadrunner B7 from Germany, both in Caymans. Also in the Cayman from Germany in third we have Calabo 84, and behind him Wet Racer from Switzerland. Also in the Porsche, David Luiz 16 from France in his Porsche in fifth, and Johnny Mr. X 99 from Spain, the first of the Corvette drivers. Danny 12907 behind him in 7th from the UK, and also from the UK Robster 46 in his Porsche in 8th. Matrix 3009 in 9th from Germany, and there I am in 10th in my Corvette. Behind me Dirk Sack from Germany in 11th. And in 12th position we have Danny 25 DGA from Spain. In 13th Vitali 82 from Germany, and behind him in 14th Alma 7073 from Italy. In 15th we have W4E from Italy, and in 16th H Rami from France. 17th Jedi John from the UK. And 18th DJ 4444 also from the UK. 19th place we have Pierre Pedro 252 from the UK, and bringing up the rear Mr. Profundo from Germany. Good luck guys. Let's have a clean race. There we go. I'm just changing my fuel map setting. Am I going to be changing the fuel map setting before the race? I knew in free practice, although no, we decided in this race, after the first race, we were going to do a pit stop strategy in this race, and knowing we have the option of putting a bit of fuel in, because we've started on mediums, the same tyre now, I beg your pardon, we started on hards, so we've changed tyres just to keep our options open. If we have a good race and we are in a good position, we might decide to keep the hard tyres on and just finish the race, but If we started on mediums, then we'd have to pit, because that's the one regulation, we have to use hards at some point during this race. If I started on mediums, I would have actually had to pit. Where starting on hards, it gives me the option. But after the first race where I didn't pit and my tyres were struggling towards the end, we've, as I say, essentially decided to pit in this race for mediums for the latter half or so. We'll just decide how it goes. We'll be a bit lucid with a planned stop where it may be. So already on lap 10 we find ourselves in a bit of space. Lap 10, position 10, lap 1, sorry, in a bit of space. Long may that continue, but I'm sure if we need to gain places it won't, and we don't really want it to. We don't want a lonely race for you guys watching, a bit boring, as we have a better line through the exit that time than almost my first 3 laps in the first race. Went quite off in it in the third lap in the first race, but so far it's a good clean lap, even if I did miss that apex there. Save, there's a yellow flag further up, and also someone seemed to have a penalty as well. Yeah, there's a penalty there, 1 second from Danny in front of me, but we're up in 9th. Someone must have gone off with that yellow flag, didn't see that. So first lap, 1 position gained. Now if we can get close enough to Danny, we might gain a position through his penalty. Not sure what it was for. Track discretion is usually half a second, whereas a collision with someone else is usually a second, so I'd have to unfortunately assume that maybe it was an altercation with the driver that went off causing the yellow flag that gave this Danny his penalty. And I also don't think we're close enough this time around, but obviously we will get closer to him with an attempt to pass him somewhere else. So he served his penalty now on that second third decent-ish straight as we head up to the corner before going up the hill towards the corkscrew, and a nice line through there, good exit. Come on, let's get another place on this lap, shall we? See if we can gain a place every lap and we'd finish first. Imagine we are 8th actually somewhere. I gained a place somewhere without even realising it. Someone go off again. I'm still behind Danny, so we've both moved up a place. Maybe somebody went off at the corkscrew. You guys can rewind that instead of watching if you want. Have a look at that. So we're right up behind Danny now as we finish off this second lap. So that's 2 laps gone and 2 positions made. So heading down towards the Andretti hairpin at the beginning of the lap for the 3rd time. Danny has just edged away, coming down that start-finish straight. Can we gain a place on this lap? Keep the momentum going. Let's find out. So we need to close up the gap to be able to do that. There's no penalties from Danny this time round. Safety around the corners so far. Coming up to me little corner where I've gone off so many times in previous races, especially in my Toyota in the Group 1 race a couple of rounds ago, and in the daily. Oh, and Danny spins and he exits that corner. So that corner that I've messed up so many times in my daily races in the past as well, he unfortunately messes up too. Oh dear, that is a shame for him. I feel for him, I really do, but that's me up in 7th now. So if you're not there to take advantage of other people's mistakes, you've got to be there to do that. And so far so good, up 3 places in the first 3 laps. And lap times on these hard tyres 1:32.8, so that's not too bad considering the mediums were giving me mid 1:30s. I've probably turned down the fuel map as well now. In fact I did, after starting out on most powerful 1 setting. I have turned it down to 2 just to try and finish the race without any fuel going in, whether or pit or not. So we are next up the road. We have Robster 46 up there in his Porsche, and behind me we have OW4E closing from Italy in 8th, who's also got past Danny when he went off. Never mind, here we go. So we're coming up to those corners that have seen a lot of mistakes from drivers across the races, including myself. We can keep it tidy, please. Yes. So up to the corkscrew we come. And that's good. No more places gained so far, but people could start to pit if they've started on the mediums. It would be nice to know strategies before the race, but obviously then there wouldn't be much fun in the racing if we knew what everyone was going to do. So crossing the line, well, coming around the final corner to cross the line, we're still in 7th. There's no pit stops. I thought it probably would be too early, but you never know. And there we go, 7th after lap 4. Tyres are still looking good. The little graphic to the left of the virtual dashboard down at the bottom of the screen there, the tyres are still looking good. There's not much red creeping into those logos of the tyres. The mediums certainly can do 5, 6, 7 laps quite easily. So if we decide to pit and get the best out of those, we'll be pitting in the next 2 or 3 laps. Now W4E from Italy has caught up quite a bit here now, and Robster has pulled away a little bit. But it's either them gaining and pulling away from me, or it's me just being a bit slower than both of them, which could be more likely. As we come around that corner, oh, little bump into there, hit the curbs, span me round. Oh, can I hang on? Yeah, managed to keep it going after the 360. That was something. We've seen what I'm like when I've faced the wrong way and I'm stood still. I seem to have a horrendous time getting the car going again, but fortunately I managed to hold that 360 spin and keep the forward momentum going. The question is, can I keep this 8th position? No, I can't. Little bump there as well as he pushes me off the track a little bit there, and I've lost another place too. So now back in 11th after, well, a couple of knocks really. Although people are going off behind me, but that doesn't help me. That's 11th place for me. So yeah, a couple of knocks. The corner prior to the corkscrew I got knocked a little bit, and then the corner after the corkscrew I got edged off the track as well. So not great, but it could have been worse had I not managed to hold on, which I was quite surprised at actually. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Little 360 spin, managed to hold it and keep going in a straight line. With excitement, and certainly grateful not to have to spin it around several times before I managed to get going again. So good, that was all good. So but we're down 4 places from where I got up to in 7th, and we're down 1 place on my start position. So we've got it all to do again, but we have seen that we can do it. We are capable of doing it. Even in the previous race we managed to go up 3 places on our start position, although 2 of those unfortunately were due to other drivers' penalties at the end of the race, where they didn't know or didn't follow the hard tyre usage rule. But still, let's have a look. We're coming across Danny and Dirk Sack. What a great name that is, Dirk Sack, from Germany. So we've caught them up again. Now can we make any progress past them? Sure we'll be able to. Scuff of dirt there. Oh, now Dirk Sack's gone wide there. Oh, and it looked like he took Danny off as he came back on the track. So they both took each, well, Dirk Sack took them both out after his initial error. Danny managed to hold on more or less, although I did get past them both, and he has got a penalty. So maybe it wasn't Dirk Sack at all, maybe it was Danny unfortunately that caused that accident. But whoever's fault it came with, I'm now up in 9th, although Danny got the inside line there in that hairpin, but he has got a penalty to serve. So maybe driving a little angry. Don't know what his sportsmanship rating is like, but certainly that's a couple of penalties he's had from collisions with other cars. Here's his penalty. Ooh, he went greyed out. We just flinched a bit there. We didn't want to risk hitting hitting a solid car, but we were so close behind him that he wasn't going to be solid really, but as I passed him, but we're just extra precautious, as we've seen it happen in other races. You collide with someone who just comes back to being solid again. But anyway, right, we're approaching the corkscrew there as we see the first pit stoppers. Calobo from 3rd place, so you can see he's coming in on mediums now, presumably with 8 laps to go. He'll be coming onto tyres, should change somewhere down here if he's changed them. Calobo we're looking at as Pierre Pedro pits behind him. It actually looks like he's come out on mediums, so he hasn't made the required tyre change. So either he's going to pit again later on, or he's going to get a penalty at the end of the race. So he comes out in 7th though, and we are in 9th, a couple of places behind him. He's just come through that corner ahead of me as Vitali now looks to take me, and indeed he does, into the corner, which gives me an able to switch back and take him on the exit of the corner. So little battle there for 9th, a clean battle for 9th there. It's nice to see some fair racing. Yeah, the different lines you can take through a corner sometimes affect your exit speed and line. He obviously went in deep there and had to exit wide, and I was able to exit with a cleaner line because of my deep entry, wide entry to the corner. So, and we've pulled away from him as well, as Neo also now pits from the leaders. Didn't see what tyres he was on, but he's probably come out somewhere in 5th or 6th. Oh, there we go. No, Roadrunner is also pitting ahead of us as we ourselves come into pit, and we've also clicked the do not refuel. So a lot of pit stop action on this, the end of the 8th lap. I think it was the 8th lap, I didn't check. A lot of action, a lot of people in the pits. Now, while you're in the pits and you're not actually crossing sector points or the racing start finish lane, your positions do seem to go a bit erratic because you never really know quite where you are. See, it's got me in 13th, now down to 14th. There does Dirk Sack round the apex, he's in 12th. So this will be close when I come out. I think he's going to just edge me into the first corner. Indeed he does, there he goes. So I'm actually out in 13th, just behind Dirk Sack, but now of course I'm on fresher tyres, so hopefully, fingers crossed, that'll pay me dividends in these final 7 laps. So see what I can do here. Also, we know Dirk Sack's gone off, but we're assuming it wasn't a mistake of his own making. So come on, 13th. No, that's fine. We're down on our start position, but it's okay. We've made a pit stop. Others may still yet have to do that, or if they don't, obviously we know from yesterday their tyres will start fading and the lap times will drop off. Now, apart from lap 5 where I messed up that corner a couple of times with a couple of knocks, and my lap times are fairly consistently in the low 132s. As we see, now we saw Alma come into the pits there, and we're coming around the corner. We've gained a place on Dirk Sack. We've got him through the entry of that last corner. But where's this guy in the pits? He's got to be close. That's a nice move into that final corner. There he is coming down the pit lane. And where are we? Where are we? There we are. We've just overtaken him coming out the pit lane. This is going to be really close after that final move into the corner to get 9th. And indeed, there we are, actually 10th now. Alma's just come out in front of us. And of course, depending on what tyres he's put on, hards or the mediums, he's got fresher tyres as well. So this will be an interesting finish to the race. But what a great move into the final corner on that last lap to get up a position. As we watch Roadrunner just ahead of us. He's gone wide, and no, he hasn't held it. He span it, and he span it again. Now he's going to flick that round. He's going to start much better than I normally do when I'm in those positions. But both Alma and myself have taken advantage of his slow moving greyed out car. So now we're up into 9th. And Roadrunner and Dirk Sack now almost close together. Oh, there's 3 close together behind me. As long as they stay behind me, I shan't have to worry about it, but There's going to be some good battles there, I'm sure. As someone else has nipped into the pits now, which is put me up into 8th. Whether I'll hold that round the first corner or not depends on where he was in front of me. As we look at Roadrunner in his battle for 9th now with Dirk Sack. Oh, round the outside, nudging, rubbing, that's fair enough. But no, he didn't quite make it round the outside. Still in 10th, Dirk Sack still in 9th. And Vitali is close behind him in 11th. Now these two in the same car. Alright, the balance of power, balance of performance makes the cars equal. But obviously if you've got the same car, then any adjustments made will be exactly equal. So the same weight, same power in those cars. As he runs a bit wide there, loses a little bit of ground to Vitali, who now looks around the outside himself. Little rubbing again there, side by side coming out of there. Roadrunner had the inside line, but Vitali's got a good exit, but Roadrunner's inside line for this next corner as well, which is where we saw him go off a couple of laps ago. So great battle for 9th, although Dirk Sack has just edged forward a little bit. Coming up to the corkscrew now, what's going to happen here? Are they through that cleanly? Yes they are. Fortunately all this is going on behind me, and while they're battling it does sometimes tend to slow the ones that are battling down a little bit. Hopefully that means I'm pulling away from this battle a bit. As closing down on the entrance to that corner now, they're right behind Dirk Sack, all three of them coming down there at the same time. You see me just ahead crossing the line, and indeed Roadrunner's got a better exit. He's alongside Dirk Sack. Is he going to stick it down the inside? He's up into, no he's not, he's neck and neck, inside line, up into 9th. Vitali has a look through there on the inside too. And indeed, oh, I think he just edged it in there as well. But now Dirk Sack's got the inside line for this corner. What a great battle for 9th. Roadrunner's now clear. Whether he'll pull away or not will remain to be seen. And we can see now that we are now 2 seconds ahead of that battle for 9th. Roadrunner in 9th, and with 3.2 seconds behind Alma, who, after coming out on those fresher tyres than me a couple of laps ago, has started to pull away. So can I stay in 8th? Can I stay ahead of Roadrunner? Can I gain an Alma back up as is? Oh, what an exciting race. Finish to this race. So a good 3 seconds gap in front and 2 seconds behind. Entering the corkscrew on lap 12. 3 laps to go after this one. And my best lap of the race was last lap on these medium tyres, as you might expect, but we've also gone faster as well so far on this lap. We'll find out if we're able to continue that momentum through the final corners as we see what time across the line. Get away cleanly, more or less, just edging over the white lines, and yes, we do 131.4, so that's not bad on these tyres in race condition, with the fuel saving mode switched on, and fuel map turned down to 2, possibly even 3 at this stage of the race. We might have actually seen it if we'd looked at that in-car footage a bit closer, but it's certainly be on 2 if not 3 by now, with 3 laps to go. Now, do we think Roadrunner is a bit closer there? Possibly, but there's still a gap. Alma's still further down the road. So we're looking now to keep this tidy and maybe keep this 8th place to the end of the race, which if I do will have me up 2 places on the starting position, 10th. But with 2.5 laps remaining, there could be a lot more to happen in here, as Roadrunner just seemed to be a little closer there. Hard to tell on some of these longer shots, but I think yeah, he definitely is closer now than those 2 seconds we saw initially after his scuffles with Dirk Sack and Vitali. It's funny now, actually Danny is in 10th now, so what happened to Dirk Sack and Vitali I'm not sure, but Danny from the UK is in 10th. Good race for him. Robster from the UK is up in 5th, so some good points there, although yeah, someone's pitted and Danny's in 9th now, as I move up into 7th, so someone's pitted from in front of us. That guy that we saw nipping into the pits was in front of us, so we've all moved up a place. As Roadrunner comes now looking down the inside, I think he's going to get it, unfortunately. I think we're going to hold on. No, we're not going to hold on. Can we stick with him and maybe get back somewhere else? Oh, braked far too much there and actually lost momentum in that corner. So there he is, up in 7th now. Oh. Again, just didn't quite look at the dashboard to see what our fuel map was on as we clipped to the in-car footage. But never mind, we gained a position there through the pit stop, but then lost it as Roadrunner, who's obviously a better driver at this stage of his and my experience levels. So that's not too bad. I'm not too overly being beaten by a better driver. Obviously strategy comes into play a lot, and I'm up 2 places thanks to that strategy. And barring one little mishap which I managed to hold on lap 5 there, fairly clean and consistent racing. So I'm pleased with this race, much better than the first attempt, which you can watch if you subscribe and go to my playlist. You can see all my Nations Cup races as well as plenty of daily races which are shorter ones to try and hopefully gain experience with. As we crossed the line, heading out for the last lap, comfortably in 8th. Roadrunner's just there in 7th, just a little bit ahead after overtaking me. There's nobody anywhere near close behind, but it's another UK driver, so I think there's 3 UKs in the top 10. And there he is, just a little bit ragged there. Oh, where's he gone? Where's Roadrunner gone? I've suddenly moved up into 7th round that corner, and there's no sign of Roadrunner on the leaderboard. So I can only assume there, unfortunately, his connection maybe got lost, which is an awful shame for him. Awful shame. But you make up your positions any way you can, as we see David Luiz finished the race first. Neo coming through in 2nd there. Calebo in 3rd. Had a good race. Johnny Mr. X is all over the place there. What's happening there? Is he just finishing the line with a bit of flair? As Robster comes across the line. Now he crossed the line in 5th but moved up to 3rd. So Alma, who's in front of me, is crossing the line in 6th. Is he going to get bumped up? Yes, he is to 4th. So I'm guessing there's a couple of drivers there with penalties. So that should mean I'll finish the line in... Yep, I moved up to 5th across the finish line, and indeed, yeah, unfortunately, Calabo and Johnny Mr. X did not justify the tyre requirements, and unfortunately got their minutes penalty added to the race time. It's unfortunate indeed for them, but that means I'm 5th place. I did get more points than my previous one, 36 points for the championship, and I think maybe it's probably time we just have a look at my standings in the championship. 8,494th in Europe. Now, all the scores here you see for the various rounds I've entered, only the top 6 count. It's a top quarter of all your races count, and they round up any fractions. So after 21 races, top 6 scores count, and I'm 12th in the East Riding, where I'm from in England. So thanks very much for watching, guys. See you next time. Hope you enjoyed that.